The Ivanacara Bimaculata is a gorgeous dwarf cichlid. I have had some success breeding this fish. There's a few areas that I'm still struggling. I want to share with you some of my successes and talk to you about some of the areas where I'm hitting roadblocks, and hopefully together we can both learn to breed this amazing dwarf cichlid. So let's go.
Let's start with the areas that I've had success. I keep these fish in RODI water, just pure RODI water. However, they do seem to do just fine in my tap water. Sexing these fish is pretty simple once they're big enough. The males are usually bigger than the females, and the females, you can see their ovipositor tube that's coming out of the bottom of the fish. It's pretty obvious, and a lot of people ask questions about it, if there's something wrong with it, if it has some kind of prolapse tube. However, this is normal for the female. I do notice that anytime that their environment is disrupted or they are stressed in any way, they tend to withdraw and become very reclusive for a few weeks, sometimes months, before they'll come out again. I do hand feed them, and they are used to my hand in the tank. They generally come right up to my hand and eat. However, recently I've changed them to a different tank, and they've kind of gone back to being reclusive. So if yours are kind of reclusive, I would just give them time. Generally, they'll warm up to you. I condition them with frozen foods and live foods, usually frozen brine shrimp and frozen bloodworms. And they do lay eggs every few weeks in a pistogramma cave that I keep in their tank. I generally see them swimming around, and then one day I can't find the female, and I check the cave, and she's usually in there guarding a batch of eggs. I can take the eggs out of the tank and place them in pure RODI water with a little bit of methylene blue in a Zis tumbler, and I can usually get about 10 to 20% of them to hatch, which usually equates to about maybe 10 to 15 eggs that hatch and turn into fry, free-swimming fry. Once the fry hatch, I feed them for a few days with golden pearl powder, and then I switch to baby brine and powdered rapashi foods, followed by just about anything crushed. I also feed them a DIY freeze-dried food that I make myself. They do seem to grow out of the fry stage relatively quickly. I have about 20 fry that are about 3 months old. I keep the fry in the RODI water for about a month, and then I start doing water changes with my regular tap water. I usually start small with between about 5 and 10%, and I slowly, over the course of about a month, work them into my regular tap water. I haven't noticed that I've lost any fry during this transition. I suspect that the RODI water is most important for the egg development stage, but once they get past that, they tend to be pretty resilient. The things that I'm trying to succeed in, that I'm struggling with, is I would prefer for her to raise her own fry, and I think I'd get a better hatch rate if I could get them to breed naturally and raise their own fry. It's my understanding that they do need to have a very low pH for that to happen, and very soft water. I've got them in the very soft water, the RODI water. However, I'm trying to drop the pH. One of the ways that I'm doing that currently is by putting sphagnum moss in the tank with them in a bag, just to see if I can get the pH to drop even lower. With just the RODI water, my pH sits around 6, maybe 6.2, but I understand that in nature they breed when their pH is below 5.5 or even 5, or even down into 4 and below. Apparently their natural habitat is very, very acidic. It's amazing that they can actually survive in that kind of environment, but I'm not able to simulate that yet in the aquarium, which is why I suspect that the eggs do not develop. They generally fungus over and she eats them. So that's just something that I'm struggling with currently and hoping to overcome soon.
So before you go, I have some exciting news. This empty 40 breeder right here is going to be given to the Ivanacara Bimaculata. I'm going to be building a scape just for them. Beautiful scape with tetras and other fish, and it's gonna be awesome. I will be making videos about all that in the future, and I'm so excited to share that with all of you. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Fish List out.